Truman had a beautiful wife everyone envied and a childhood friend he grew up with and neighbors who greeted him every day.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
He lived a routine life just like anyone else, but everything was a facade. The town Truman lived in was actually a giant film set. Everyone around him was an actor, including his wife, with whom he shared a bed. Truman had been chosen as the star of a live show from the moment he was born. Billions of people watched Truman grow up on TV. One day, a spotlight fell from the ceiling, and Truman began to doubt everything. He wanted to leave the island and search for his lost first love, but he was afraid to take the ferry because of his father's tragic drowning, which left him with deep psychological fear. Truman remembered his lost first love, who was just an extra in the show. The producers worried she would tell Truman the truth, so they separated them. He cut out facial features from fashion magazines, trying to piece together the image of his first love from memory. What he didn't know was that his first love was watching him on TV. Truman sat with his old friend, reminiscing about the good old days. His friend's words were all directed by the producers from afar. They even brought in Truman's father, and the emotional reunion moved the audience to tears. Everyone thought Truman would stop there, but they were wrong. Truman's first love called in live, objecting to turning a life into a reality show. The producer said if Truman had enough courage, nothing could stop him from uncovering the truth. Just when everyone thought Truman had calmed down, he disappeared. To stop him, the studio triggered a weather control system, and a storm with thunder and lightning raged. Truman didn't back down. He sailed his boat towards the unknown and crashed into the wall that had confined him for 30 years. It was the first time he touched that wall. He walked along the wall up the stairs and opened the door to a new life. At that moment, the producer spoke through the mic saying, although everything was fake, Truman himself was real, and the world outside was just as full of lies. The producer showed his true feelings, hoping Truman would hesitate, but Truman turned around without a second thought and walked through the door. His first love ran to him, and the entire world cheered. The broadcast ended. Truman had lived under the gaze of the whole world from birth. His parents, friends, and family, even the entire trajectory of his 30 years had been scripted. In the process of unraveling the truth, Truman still had the courage to leave that giant cage. And aren't we all living in our own Truman world?